Let's talk about something you've all experienced. Sit down at a desk and you start taking notes, start reading a textbook, maybe even highlighting entire paragraphs of text. You might skip your favorite activities thinking this is what it takes to get the good grades. And then the results come in and you're frustrated. All the effort and then the grades don't reflect it. Meanwhile, your friend who barely cracked open the book and somehow he aces the test. It's enough to make you question everything. Well, here's the reality, right? It isn't how much effort you're putting in, it's how that effort is being spent. Traditional study habits like rereading notes, highlighting, and cramming aren't actually effective. They give the illusion of productivity while not actually helping you retain or understand any of the material. In this video, I'm going to show you how to study smarter, not harder. By the end of this, you're going to know how to make your study sessions much shorter, more focused, and way more effective. We've been taught to equate studying with hours at a desk. But here's the thing, studying isn't about time, it's about focus. You can spend 5 hours rereading notes and highlighting, but if you're not actually engaging with the material, those 5 hours are wasted. The real game changers here are active recall and spaced repetition. Active recall means testing yourself on the material rather than just passively reviewing it. For example, instead of just rereading a chapter, close the book and see how much of that you understand. Write it down, quiz yourself with flashcards, say it out loud. Essentially, you have to recall this in order for it to be ingrained into your memory. And spaced repetition is all about timing. Rather than reviewing it all in one session, split it up between days and weeks. For example, study topic today, then tomorrow, then a few days later, and a week after that. This technique leverages the way our brains work and helps you retain the information in the long term. And let's not forget about breaks, right? So something that works for a lot of people is the Pomodoro technique. It's 25 minutes of work and then 5 minutes of break. But you can change those times according to what works best for you. It's a great way for you to stay sharp and not burn out. These breaks give a way for your brain to recharge and ensure that you can still work productively. Well, let's face it, textbooks can be overwhelming. They're dense, they're packed with information, and they're not always organized in a way that's super student friendly. That's where the reverse reading method comes in. Start at the end of a chapter, review the summary, key points, and practice questions first. These sections highlight the most important information, giving you a clear idea of what to focus on. And once you know what's important, you can go back and skim the rest of the chapter. Here's how it works. So you start with a summary. This gives you an overview of the main concepts. And then look at the practice questions. They often cover the material that you're going to see on the test. And do a quick skim. Take a look at the bolded words, the headings, as well as the diagrams to understand the structure. Deep dive into the key sections. Now that you know what's important, deep dive into those parts. This method saves you time and ensures you're not wasting energy on irrelevant details. Plus, by starting with these answers, you're essentially reverse engineering your study process. This makes it a lot easier to connect the dots. Have you ever felt drained after switching between different kinds of tasks? That's because of context switching. Every time your brain goes from one studying activity to another, like for example math to then writing an essay, your brain requires time to adjust. This transition period eats into your productivity. Batching tasks is the solution. Group similar tasks together and tackle them all at once. For example, dedicate one session to do math problems, another one to do US history. Well, this keeps you in the same mental zone to make sure that you stay focused and efficient. Make sure to start small. Within each batch, begin with the easiest tasks. One of the biggest mistakes that students make is that giving themselves unlimited time to study. When you think you'll spend the entire day on this, then you're actually setting yourself for failure. That's because of Parkinson's law, and it states that tasks expand to the amount of time that you give it. Instead, set specific time limits for each task. For example, decide that you'll do 30 minutes reviewing a chapter or 45 minutes completing a problem set. This creates a sense of urgency that forces you to focus. Here's how to do it. Estimate the time needed. Think about how much the task should realistically take. Reduce it slightly, so if you think you need an hour, set a timer for 45 or 50 minutes. This pushes you to work more efficiently, but don't reduce it too much to the point where it's causing stress. You can still take breaks after each study session, like we talked about before. 5-10 minutes, whatever works best for you. Ensure these aren't unproductive, watching TV, playing video games, these sort of things. It should be good breaks where you're off screen, where you're maybe going on a walk, maybe eating some food, these kind of things to get your mind completely off of work. So here's my final thoughts. Studying doesn't have to be a grind. By focusing on quality over quantity, by using techniques such as reverse reading or batching, as well as by setting time limits, you can transform your study sessions today. The goal isn't to spend more time at the desk. It's to make your time there more effective and more efficient as possible. And if you're trying to make your studying even easier, especially when it comes to studying for any big upcoming test, a lot of the time you would like to see resources, you would like to see exactly what you want to do day to day. We showed you exactly how you might go across that, but when it comes to the exact to-do list, you can form this on your own, and a lot of you students are used to that. I've built an app for you guys that can do this for free, and you can check that out at apolloapp.co. We're also releasing new features for different use cases when it comes to studying. So be sure to check that out if you want to save even more of your time. So please give any of these strategies a try. You'll be surprised how much it helps you. If there's any other techniques or strategies that I'd like for all of us to know, please drop them in the comments. Let's keep learning from each other and make studying easier for everyone.